Hello, guys. Welcome to the day three of our AZ 900 bootcamp. I hope you all are ready and enthusiastic to learn the new concepts of AZ 900. And we have with us our expert speaker, Mr. Antriksh Pratham, who is already 4x Azure certified and a Microsoft certified trainer. He's going to give you the lectures ahead on the AZ 900. So if you have any kind of queries and doubts, kindly put them in the comment box and he will surely assist you with the problems. And let's go. Over to you, sir.
Yeah, thank you so much, and super excited to have sorry, all of you over here. I guess just one thing, maybe Varun, yeah, some of the questions, instead of putting in the chat box, if we can have in a central place, because today it would be great if we can cover much more concepts than we were able to do yesterday. So yeah, that is one thing. And apart from that, yes, so please be somewhat active, because yesterday, your energy was a little bit less. So just quickly say hi. Yes, Kamlesh has already said good morning. What about others? Good morning, Kamlesh. Please be somewhat active today so that we can cover more concepts. I need your cooperation also. It is not like, I can do it on my own. Hello, Himanshu. What about others? Guys, please be somewhat interactive, okay? It is not a one-way session. So, hello, Shubham. So, maybe, do you think you can share what things we discussed yesterday? What are the things that you remember? I guess you can do that also. Hello, Sonali, Jayavardhan. We created VM, deployed it. Okay, yes, that's great. What about others? I think only Sonali was paying attention yesterday. Yeah, sure, Jayavardhan. I would definitely check that. Actually, the thing is that I am active only on, WhatsApp or Telegram, or else on LinkedIn. But yes, I will definitely see. Don't worry. So yeah, I think we can get started with today. So yes, thank you so much everyone for joining in. If any of your friends are there who have not joined till now, please ask them to join so that we can start at the earliest. And they don't miss on any of the concepts, because we are going to cover a lot of things today. And yeah, you should not miss any of that. Shubham is telling SQL database using Sandbox. Yeah, yeah, great. So yes, that's great. Apart from this, yes, what I was saying is maybe it would be great if you can, instead of putting the questions in the chat box, I have created a Slido link. If you have used Slido before, you will know what it is. And maybe you can have the questions over there, because the thing is that I would really like to have the questions in one place, uh, so that we don't have to stop the flow of the session. So we are able to cover more concepts today, I guess. So yeah, that is why. And yes, I think since this is the third day, you are already aware about the rules. You have to be interactive. You don't have to, keep asking as many questions as you like. And yeah, interact as much as you can. So this is the Slido. So you can open slido.com, and this is the code for that. Maybe you can write this down somewhere. I will keep showing this in the middle also if you like. And if you can have all of the questions in one place, even if you put the questions in the chat box, I am still going to put them on Slido once again. Uh, so yeah, that is one thing. So Jayavardhan is telling you have told about Sandbox and what are its benefits. So yes, thank you so much. Uh, I guess that's all. If you have not used Slido, no problem. This is a very interesting application. You should use Slido, and yeah. Okay, so today we will be starting with some of the identity services. I guess this we have completed yesterday also, but I will show some of these things once again, so that it can also be like a quick revision of all of the concepts. So we were talking about authentication versus authorization. Some of you had also told some really good examples and some really good definitions for that. Quickly going through that. So authentication is how you are able to identify a person or a service that is seeking any kind of access to a resource, and it requires legitimate credentials to be there with you for that, uh, so that you are able to access it. Authorization is used to determine any authenticated person's level of access, how much they can access it, and what data they can access, what kind of things they can do with that data. That is determined by authorization. So yeah, I think that's about it. We also discussed about multi-factor authentication. Now, what is multi-factor authentication? It is helping you to provide additional security for your identity by having two or more elements. So let us say here you are seeing a username and a password, which is of course used by almost everyone. Along with that, you also have either a physical key or else a card or something like that, I guess. And that helps you to have an extra layer of security over your account, over your resources, or anything else that is there, and helps you to gain access. We also talked about Azure Active Directory. I guess this is one discussion that we can have once again today. So maybe if you guys would like to talk about Azure Active Directory, and so please feel free to go ahead and share in the chat box whatever you like to talk. Where you have heard about it, what things you know, and what things you remember from yes before is also completely fine. Guys, please try to be interactive. I'm waiting for your responses in the chat box. So can you please tell about Azure Active Directory? What you remember from our previous discussion is also fine. And yeah. Okay, so once again, I will just quickly go through this, I guess. Um, so Azure Active Directory is an authentication service from Azure. It is a very exciting and one of the most popular products of Microsoft. And it is not just for Azure actually, it is for all of their suite of products. It is for Office 365, for Windows Live, Skype, Teams, anything that you talk, that is Microsoft. They also have these Surface laptops and things like that. Forget about Surface laptop, any kind of device that you have in your organization, you can control that also by using Active Directory. Any kind of phones, laptops, and tablets, all can be controlled. It is also having SSO feature with single sign-on. So, by using only one sign-in, it can sign in across all devices and across all, places. You can also manage any kind of applications. It is both B2B as well as B2C. I guess one of you were telling that you heard about this on Shark Tank. So yes, I remember about that also. Apart from that, yes, device management is actually one of the most exciting features of Azure Active Directory. It is completely cloud based. It is an identity and access management service. So yeah, that's almost about it. Let me know. Hi, Vithal. Hello, you are a bit late, man. So yeah, can you tell about Azure Active Directory if you remember what we discussed? And I guess I have covered almost all of the things. But yes, if I have missed something, please let me know about Active Directory. This is also one of the things that we discussed before. It is conditional access, which is one of the most good features about Azure Active Directory. So let us say it is bringing the different kind of signals and different kind of inputs together, and it is helping you to enforce any kind of organizational policies. Now, this is useful only for organizations and not for people. But let us say if you are wanting a very secure solution, if you want to do different kind of things, and yeah, so here you can see, right? I guess, are you able to see this? um Pen? No, maybe not pen. Sorry. Okay, fine. If you are able to see this one, so it is having different kind of signals coming together. It is having user, the location of the user, the device they are using, the real-time risk that is there, and the application. So through that, they are able to do different kind of things. If you are requiring multi-factor authentication for access, that is also there. Accordingly, it is able to decide whether to allow the access or to block the access. So yeah, that is how the conditional access will be working. It is actually quite cool and one of the best features. Now, actually, this is also quite an interesting topic. So, Azure governance, how exactly you are able to govern the access of Azure, how you exactly you are able to control it, because this is also actually not exactly important from a people point of view, but still you should be able to understand these things. At least you are able to see how these things work, so that it is able to help you. So, yeah, we will not be spending that much time over these things, I guess, but still these are quite some interesting topics. So let us say if we were to talk about role based access control. Now, role based access control is something that is called as fine grained access management. It is helping you to divide the duties within a team of people, and it is helping you to divide the amount of access that you have, that they need to perform their jobs, and any kind of access to Azure portal, to different kind of resources within the Azure portal, they can all be controlled by role based access control. And that's almost about it. Of course, it is quite an interesting topic, but it is relevant only for organizations, because that is where this will be much more helpful. There is also something that is known as resource lock. Now, let us say that we were making some resources, right? So you told that I think Sonali was telling we created a VM, we deployed it. But you must remember that since we are, I think, yes, Varun was telling yesterday that once you are creating any kind of resources, in order to ensure that you are not getting a very huge bill, it is also important that you delete that resource. Uh, but let us say you don't want to delete, it is something that is very important for you and you want to prevent it from getting deleted. That is exactly where resource locks will come into the picture, and it will help you to have the protection against getting deleted. It will help you to um, protect the whatever the software, whatever the resources you are having. So here you can see that there are different kind of types. If it is cannot delete, so yes, you can read it, yes, you can update it, but you cannot delete it. If it is read only resource lock, so you can only read it, you cannot update it, and you can also not delete it. So depending upon the kind of protection that you want, you can apply resource locks. Resource locks can be managed at subscription, resource group, or even the individual levels. So that is the amount of control that you are getting, which is of course very beneficial and helps you to control the resources that you have very effectively. This is also something that is quite an interesting topic, which is about tags. I guess while creating the VM, we also saw the tags somewhat. Now, tags are only used for logical kind of organization. Okay, it is a name and value pair. Now, here also you can see that it is basically for adding any kind of information that you want. If you want to add the owner information, you can use that. If you want to use that, add the department information, you can use that. It is basically like adding some kind of information. Like let us say, even if you are doing some work, you might be using some stickers or some notes to organize, right? I guess maybe if you are doing that, then this will somewhat relate to you because you will be able to understand what exactly tags do. This is also something that is relevant for organizations only. So it is Azure policy. Now let us say if you want any kind of compliance, if you want any kind of rules, and regulatory compliance is also there. So let us say if you are operating in different countries, you will have to talk with their regulators. There will be some legal obligations that you might have. So that is exactly where Azure policy comes into the picture. It helps you to identify any kind of issues that you may have, how to enforce those policies, and how to take care that they are being enforced in a very effective way. So yeah, that's about it. And there are different kind of categories such as storage, networking, compute, and like that, different kind of categories are there in Azure policy, which really helps you to control and get that kind of information from your resources and meet all of your compliances that you may have. So we are also having Azure Blueprints. Now, Blueprints is also something that is actually interesting, and I guess maybe this is something that we can also use. I guess because even though it is relevant from an organization point of view, I guess this is something that maybe we all can relate to. So let us say if you want to, create 5 VMs, or if you want to create different kind of VMs like that, so how will you do that? One of the ways to do that is to have the blueprint. Now blueprint does exactly what it says. Okay, it is helping you to create a blueprint of your environment, and you can copy it, you can use it for duplicating it. And if you want any kind of policy assignment, any kind of role assignment, any kind of templates you want to add, everything you can add in that, and it will be duplicated for you. So yes, this is one of the exciting parts. As you can see that any kind of components that you want, any networking, any kind of resources, resource groups, everything can be part of a blueprint, and everything can be um, there in as a blueprint for you. This is also Quite an interesting thing, and I guess I would really like to show this also if possible. This is the cloud adoption framework of Microsoft Azure. Now, what exactly is a cloud adoption framework? I guess this is something that we can have as a discussion also. Maybe if you can quickly tell if you understand what a cloud adoption framework is. If you don't understand, also completely fine. But if you know, then it would be really helpful. Can you please quickly say maybe yes, no, or maybe share what you understand by a cloud adoption framework? Also, yes, good morning, Nagul. Guys, I'm waiting for your responses. Even if you don't know what a cloud adoption framework is, you can just say that you don't know. That is also completely fine. Okay, so Vittal is telling he has no idea. What about others? Maybe if someone else can also share what they know, or maybe if they don't know, then that is also completely fine. So basically, what this is that it is a framework for adopting cloud. I guess this is already given on the slide also. But let us say this is present with all of the three cloud providers. Now, Google Cloud also has their own adoption framework. AWS also has an adoption framework. This is especially important if you want to move your infrastructure from on-premise to cloud, and that is exactly where an adoption framework comes into the picture. So as you can see over here, that any kind of tasks that are there associated with migration, it helps you to do that. It is also a collection of some of the best practices that are there from different kind of Microsoft employees and kind of Microsoft partners and other customers. It is also having a lot of tools and lot of uh, lot of guidance how to get, and lot of things that will help you if you are planning a migration. So how to plan a migration, how to develop the strategy for a migration, and how to be ready for that migration. So all of these things are covered in Microsoft adoption framework. I guess if possible, I will try to show this. So Sonali is telling he does not have she does not have any information about it. That is completely fine. Ajay, I was asking about the cloud adoption framework. Are you aware about that? And what exactly is a cloud adoption framework? If you are aware, you can just put on the chat box. No issues. So see here we are able to see. I guess I will try to share these links also. Towards the end. you can see that different kind of tools, different kind of documentation, best practices that are given from Microsoft to help you accelerate in, if you are interested in adopting Microsoft Azure. So you can see a lot of information is provided to you. You also have trackers and evaluation, and different kind of tools are there. There are benchmarks that you can use, and different kind of skills, support, and like that different kind of things are there. Basically, the idea over here is to help you accelerate your adoption and help you take care of whatever things you might require. So I guess that's about it. I hope you are able to understand what this means. Um, Now, this also once again is something that probably may not be important from an individual point of view, but still we will just quickly go through these topics. I hope, are you able to see my screen? Maybe please quickly say yes or no in the chat box that you are able to see or not see. Yes, thank you so much. So, one is of course security. So security is one of the most essential aspect. As you can see now, security is how secure your product is or how secure your application is. Microsoft takes a lot of steps to ensure that towards from their direction also any kind of known and unknown threats from the internet, because nowadays you are seeing that there are a lot of news of attacks coming, and a lot of different kind of issues that keep on coming up. So how to prevent from them? So that is exactly how this comes into the picture. Then privacy of course is also one of the hot topics nowadays, because all of these three, Microsoft, even Amazon, even Google, they keep on coming in the news for violating the different privacies. But yes, they are always committed to ensuring the privacy. They have different kind of agreements in place, so you don't have to worry about that also. And yes, they have different kind of tools for providing the control and transparency. Compliance of course is regulatory compliance, legal compliance, any kind of local laws and regulations that your country, in this case India of course, or in your region may have. Microsoft tries to obey them as much as possible also. These are some of the compliances that Microsoft is having. Of course, there are more than this, and but these are some of the examples actually. So HIPAA is one of them. Health insurance portability and accountability. NIST is one of them. I think ISO. Almost everyone has heard of it. CGIS is something from the United States. EU model clause once again from the European Union. But this just gives an understanding about what kind of things are already compliant with Azure. So yeah, I think if you have not put any questions on Slido, maybe you can join over there. You can explore that, and if you like, you can put any questions over there also. If any questions are there that I cannot answer, I will still put them over there. So yeah, that is also there. One of the things. You can open this URL slido.com and you can use this code 486608. If you want to ask any questions, you can just put them over there. Whatever questions I'm not able to answer in this session, because we are going somewhat of a faster rate, I will put them on Slido so that we can take them up later. That also brings me to another thing. I guess maybe I will wait for Varun to tell more about it. But please don't forget to join tomorrow's session, because tomorrow's session is going to be much more interactive and much more better. And there are going to be a lot of surprises. So I guess if any of your friends who have not joined, who have not been able to come, please ask them to come. And even if others also who are willing to come, I guess you can ask them also. Maybe I will save this surprise for the last. Actually, I will not say this right now. I will say this in the last. What are the things we are planning for tomorrow? So this is also one of the things that you should be aware about, which is the Microsoft privacy statement. Now, Microsoft privacy statement provides the detailed information about how Microsoft handles the data that is collected from its products and services from you essentially. It explains what kind of data Microsoft processes, how it processes that data, and what it is used for. So yes, I mean, Microsoft privacy statement, of course, is completely a legal document. So that is exactly why we won't be spending that much time going through the privacy statement. But I think that gives you some idea about what it is. There are also some different kind of terms. Now, online services terms is for the licensing terms that define the terms and conditions for the services that you purchase from Microsoft, like volume licensing, any kind of products that you purchase, they come under the online services terms. There is data protection addendum. What exactly is data protection addendum? Exactly what it says. It sets for some kind of obligations, some kind of rules with the processing, the security of customer data, any kind of personal data that is being collected in connection with the online services, or in connection with any of the services that are being offered. How to protect that data, how to use that data, what kind of obligations Microsoft is having, all of those things are there in that. Yes, so now this is somewhat, now we are coming into the things that you might be interested in. Now, Trust Center is something that is about all of the Microsoft cloud products, all of the Azure products, any kind of security, any kind of privacy, compliance, any kind of alerts you want to configure, everything will be there in the Trust Center. And it is even, from a beginner level to an expert level, all kind of information will be there in the Trust Center. It is even having the curated kind of list of recommended resources that may be there. Any kind of role specific information, like let us say if you are a business manager, if you are an administrator, if you are an engineer, there are different kind of information that you might be needing, that is specific to your role. So now that information is also there on the Trust Center. Yes. Now, this is also something that we have already discussed. Basically, what this says over here is any kind of compliance that is there. There are different kind of compliances, and Azure tries to obey all of them. There is, of course, the global compliance, which is required on an international level. Any kind of cross border treaty or any kind of international treaties are there. Then there are some government level things like US government, Indian government, whatever it is. It says the US government over here because it's a Microsoft presentation, but you can take it to mean the Indian government. And yes, we also have the industrial kind of compliances that may be required. There are also some regional compliances, and like that, different kind of levels are there for compliance, and it tries to have the comprehensive set. It tries to obey as many compliances as possible, to help it to be in touch with the legal requirements and any kind of specific requirements that may be there. And yes, this I guess we were talking earlier, if you remember, about the sovereign regions. Now this is one of the examples of sovereign regions. I guess there is one more example. Yes, there are two examples of sovereign regions, and the third example we saw that it is going to come up in Singapore. This is about the US government sovereign region. Now, US government sovereign region is for US federal agency, the state and local governments, any kind of law enforcement that is there in the United States of America. Azure government for United States is a separate instance of Azure. It is physically isolated from any kind of US government, non-US government, like civilian deployments, like and it is only accessible to screened and authorized personnel. It is not accessible to anyone. There are different kind of standards that they have to obey. Some of the lists are given over here. FedRAMP is there, NIST is there, ITAR is there, IRS is there. So like that, different kind of standards are there for making it a sovereign region. and it tries to obey almost all of the standards. And yes, of course, we have Azure China also. I guess Azure China is, Microsoft is China's first foreign public cloud provider. It is trying to be in compliance with all of the government regulations. Once again, Azure China also, just like Azure United States of America, it is a physically separated instance of Azure. It is operated by 21 ViaNet in China, and all of the data stays within China to ensure any kind of compliance with the local laws, the rules and regulations of China. These are the two kind of sovereign regions that Azure is having. Of course, more are trying to come up in near future, and yes, definitely looking forward to even more things like this from Azure. Yeah, now this is also one of the discussions that I really wanted to have with all of you. Maybe can you please say what kind of things, affect the cost? I guess we have done so many discussions. We have tried to cover most of the topics. So you can try. There are some of the things mentioned over here, and you can also go ahead and share some points that you may feel are some of the factors that will be affecting the cost of any service or any kind of contract what you may have. Please try to be interactive in the chat box. You can let me know what kind of factors you think might have affect the cost. I'm waiting for your responses in the chat. Yeah, guys, actually, yes, if you are showing some enthusiasm and excitement, it really helps us also, because it helps us to, take the session in an exciting way. It really helps us to see that, you are present for us. Otherwise, it feels like, a very monotonous session, and it makes everyone bored. So, yeah. Location and service options, like different HTT or SSDs have different cost or different storage tiers. Duration of its use. So yes, thank you so much, Vithal and Sonali. Apart from them, anyone else who wants to go ahead and share their points, they can also go ahead and do that. Can you please let me know if you are able to see my screen? And if anyone else is also wanting to share any kind of points about the factors affecting cost, please feel free to go ahead and let me message. So, okay, now we will start our discussion. So, there are mostly six important factors. One of them is resource type. So, yes, as you were saying that, the cost, they are specific to the resources. I guess uh, if you are using one specific small VM, or else if you are using a bigger VM. And I guess before this, you were also talking about GPU VMs. Now, GPU VMs are so big that some of the accounts may not even have access to GPU VMs. And Azure tracks the usage and how much you are using that. And depending upon the type of the resource, yes, definitely it can keep on changing. What kind of service you are using, there are different kind of rates for different services. And of course, the billing period, I guess which Sonali was also talking about. And it also depends upon the kind of plan that you have. So if you have CSP plan, if you have enterprise plan, or else if you have web direct plan, everything can keep on changing. And of course, the location is also a very important factor. It is a globally distributed infrastructure of Azure, and usage cost might very slightly vary. It is not a big variation, but of course, if you're talking about scale, location also starts to become a factor. Apart from that, yes, bandwidth and any kind of inbound and outbound traffic that you are sending to Azure, any kind of let us say if you are sending very big files or things like that, that can also affect. These are about some of the things that will help you to increase cost. Now let us talk about some of the things that will help you to reduce the cost that you may be having. We are also having something that is known as reserved instances. What exactly is reserved instance? Azure Reservations helps you to commit to 1 year or 3 year plan for multiple products. Reservation can help you reduce your cost with up to 72% on pay as you go pricing. And the only thing is, of course, that you have to use it for 1 year or 3 years, but you are also saving significantly in that. Hybrid benefit we have discussed before. If you want to use any kind of your own licenses, you want to bring it to Azure, you can do that with reduce cost. This is also something that is quite interesting, which is known as the Azure Pricing Calculator. It is a tool that helps you to estimate the cost of products. I guess this was being asked yesterday or even in the first day also, because pricing is quite an important topic. If you want to decide the amount of pricing that you may require for any products, uh, of course, before provisioning in Azure, you will have a brief about the pricing, but you can have it without provisioning or without opening Azure also. This is completely outside Azure. The only thing you will need to know is the exact kind of things that might be required. If you know what exactly you require, what kind of VMs you might require, if you know the name and type of VMs, you can use the pricing calculator and you can find it out. Now, how will you know the type of VMs for your particular workload? And that is exactly where the documentation comes into the picture. You can go through the documentation, you can go through the different offerings of Azure, you can decide what may be the specifically the kind of things that you may require. So yes, that's about the pricing calculator. Apart from that, there is also a total ownership calculator. Total cost of ownership, what exactly is that? Now let us say if you are talking about cloud, right? Cloud is not exactly just a service that is being offered, right? There are other things also that you have to take care of. Any kind of let us say, uh, if you are doing a migration, you have to think about how much cost it will take to migrate that data. If you will uh, having any kind of networking, any kind of storage, how to decide how much cost it will be required for you to use Azure. So this is also something that you can use to decide that. These are the two types of calculators that you can use depending upon your specific application. There is a pricing calculator and there is a total cost of ownership calculator. Finally, we have got Azure Cost Management. Azure Cost Management is a central dashboard that you are having. This will be for helping you analyze all of the different costs that you may have, all of the different uh, resource-wise or any kind of reports that you may want, any kind of budgeting that you want to do. You can do budgeting also in Azure Cost Management. You can set any kind of budgets, like I want to spend only this much. If you want to configure any kind of alert and that once my usage reaches this level, just alert me so that I'm able to understand that I'm using a bit too much than expected. And of course there are recommendations that are there. So how to reduce cost or what kind of predictions that may be there. We were talking earlier, I guess in the first day, that you are also able to understand how much cost will be there in using any cloud, because cloud is completely predictable. It is using AI and ML to understand your usage, and you are paying only for what you use. So in the same way, if you want any kind of recommendations, that is also possible in Azure Cost Management for you. So yes, this is a sample workflow about how you will be able to minimize the cost. So first is the performance, and you can analyze your cost by using Azure pricing calculator. You can also use the total cost of ownership calculator. By using these two things, you are able to understand how much your cost will be. You are able to have some kind of analysis. Then we also have something called as Azure Advisor. We have talked about this before. It is helping you to monitor the usage of Azure. Any kind of recommendations that you might get in Azure Advisor, you can implement them. You can use it to reduce the cost. You also have some, mm, spending limit, and you can also have free trial kind of things. You can even have credit based subscription. By using these kind of things, you are able to reduce cost significantly, or else you are able to limit it. You also have things that are Azure Reservations, Azure Hybrid Benefit. These also significantly help you to lower the cost. And so yeah, like that, you can even choose a low cost location. Like, let us say if the speed is not a factor for you, you can just decide that what kind of locations you might want to use. And instead of selecting a location that is closer to you, which is something that you should usually be doing, you can just select a location that offers you lesser cost. Of course, there are some issues with that. Like, let us say if you want to have any kind of latency, less latency, there will be more latency if the location is farther from you. And the most interesting point according to me, of course, is this one. Keep up to date with the latest whatever the offers are there, whatever the news is there. That is exactly why you should go through the Azure blogs and stuff. You should go through the news. And yeah, that's about it. You can also use tags is completely optional actually, so we won't be discussing about it. Tags are only used to identify, to help you to segregate, to help you to understand what where exactly a specific kind of cost is coming from. Once again, we will be discussing about the service level agreements and the life cycles. This is also something that I guess we have discussed earlier, but we will be discussing somewhat in depth. So maybe what you can do is share once again what you mean by a service level agreement in the chat box. Um, what do you mean by change the plan over here, Sonali? Can you please elaborate a little bit? Uh, I guess. Sorry, I think I should be over here. Yeah. So, do you mean that you want a different plan, as in an enterprise plan, or else that kind of things? I'm not able to find the exact place actually. So yeah, here some of the different plans were given. We have enterprise plan, we have web direct plan, we have got CSP customer. So yes, you can switch between the plans depending upon whichever plan you might be interested in. By default, you are given a pay as you go subscription, which is for a normal customer. But if you want an enterprise plan, you can go ahead and have the enterprise plan also. You can even have the different kind of tiers that are there. So yes, to answer your question, yes, it is possible. I hope that answers your question, Sonali. Maybe others can go ahead and share what they mean by a service level agreement, what they think it means. And yeah. Oh yes, of course. That is also quite interesting thing that if you want any kind of resources, if you want any kind of thing specifically, please put them in the chat, and we will definitely try to arrange them for you. I guess since before you were asking about the certification documents and stuff. So yes, I will share that also. Apart from that, anything else that you want, please feel free to go ahead and share in the chat box. So, see, service level agreement or SLA is something that describes the commitment that Microsoft is having for any kind of uptime, any kind of connectivity to your Microsoft Azure services. It is based upon individual kind of products and services, and different kind of conditions are also there for an SLA. What exactly it means and how they keep on changing, we will try to discuss over here. Basically, it is a legal kind of agreement between you and between Microsoft. Any kind of services that they are offering, how those services will be offered is mentioned in the SLA. But if you have any kind of free services, or else if you are using any kind of preview services, now what preview services mean, I guess we will try to talk about that also. But any kind of that will not come under SLA, because well, for SLA there are some conditions also that, for I guess we will show this. Yeah, so here you can see that these are some of the SLAs. And okay, sure. So see, when we mean that it is a 99% SLA, what exactly does it mean? Okay, so 99% of SLA means that, uh, sorry, 19% of SLA means that you will have up to 7 hours of downtime per month, but you will not have less than 7 hours of more than 7 hours of downtime. And so yeah, this is like a target, you can say, or it's a kind of guarantee that, for in a month only this number of time it will not be available for you. There is also 99.5% of SLA, which is for 3 hours. I guess you can see over here in the table how the figures keep on decreasing, up to 99.999% of SLA, which is just for 26 seconds of downtime per month. But it completely depends upon what exactly you might be needing for your specific application. If a service fails to meet this guarantee, certain kind of, a percentage of the monthly service fees that you are paying to Azure, they can be credited back to you. That is exactly why sometimes you will find in the news, right, that Microsoft Azure was not able to function, and they lost a lot of money because of this SLA. They have to refund some of the cost. If if your application was not able to run for a significant amount of time, they will have to refund that cost to you. So what kind of actions will affect an SLA? So this is also like, how to discuss this. So uh, adding more services, or else, any kind of free or non SLA services, like I told, if you are using any preview services which are not coming under SLA, they can lower your overall SLA. But how you can raise your SLA? Okay, you can have the different kind of redundant system, you can use availability zones, you can use the different regions, you can use region pairs. Basically have some more stability into your system, which will help you to raise your SLA, which will help you to have even more uptime for your application, which is of course beneficial not just for you, for everyone else, for your users and your customers. Any kind of decisions that you may make at the design level when you are making that application, when you are designing it, any kind of goals that you may have, that will also help you to drive your SLA. This is about the preview features. Now, what exactly are preview features? It is a part of Azure preview program. What exactly happens in that is, any kind of beta features, any kind of pre-release features, if you want to test, if you want to provide feedback, you can enable these for your like, own account. And this is available to all of the Azure customers. You can uh, enable this feature, and you can see any kind of features that they want to introduce. Now, what do these mean? Now, when we talk about public preview, this is about the features that are available to everyone. When you're talking about generally available, after the public preview is completed, all of the customers, they can use the feature, and the but the only thing which will vary is the availability across the regions. But yes, that means that once it is available, everyone can use, but you can use even in the preview stage if you are enabling the preview feature option. So you are able to get a taste of the beta features, any kind of pre-release features, which helps you to stay ahead of the game, because you are getting the features that are not available to everyone. Now, how exactly will you be able to understand the different kind of updates? Okay, so this is Azure updates are there. Azure updates is a specific region in the console. It can help you provide the information about products and services. any kind of features in addition to roadmaps that you may want, how to decide what kind of services will be there, how those services will be there. You can even use it by RSS means. I guess RSS is somewhat outdated nowadays, but if you want, it is still there, and you can use it to get some update notifications for your services. Okay, yeah, so that is great. So now we are having some questions over here. Definitely, thank you so much, and please feel free to go ahead and keep putting questions over here. This is 486-608. Once again, I'm sharing the code. You can join at slido.com, and this is the code for you, 486-608. And we will definitely be taking these questions up either towards the end, or else we will see about that. So apart from this, guys, please let me know if you want to know about anything else. Please feel free to keep posting your questions on Slido so that we can go ahead and take them. I guess this is posted anonymously, so I am not sure who posted this, but yes, completely fine. I will try to answer this. So any free tier is available in Azure for practicing by students. So yes, we discussed about the free tier on day one, and you can use a free tier to evaluate Azure services for up to 12 days. You are also getting some free credits that you can use on Azure, and you can use them for getting some idea about how Azure is working and how Azure is helping you to build your services. I guess I will show once again if possible. For some reason, I'm not able to show over here. So basically, why is this happening? Okay, so see, if when you are there in the free trial, you can have up to $200 of credits, and you can evaluate Azure services for up to 12 months. Vithal is asking, can you take an example to start any kind of service by using Cloud Shell? So yes, definitely we can try to do that, but you have to understand that Azure Cloud Shell is very a new feature, and it is somewhat in development. It is not as evolved as Cloud Shell in other products like even AWS or GCP. So apart from that, any other questions that you may have, please feel free to go ahead and ask them. So that meanwhile, I will try to see what Vittal's question. Vittal is asking, if possible, can we please discuss some sample questions of AZ 900? So yes, we will be discussing that. Along with that, there are some other things also that we have planned. Towards the end of the session, we will discuss about all of these things. I will tell you, we have some announcements also for tomorrow. So yes, definitely we will do that. Jayavardhan is asking why Azure was made. So what? Why Azure was made? What do you mean by that? Maybe you can say that also. Azure is just a cloud service provider, man. I mean, it can be there. They wanted to take their services to the public, and that is exactly why they created it. Do you have taken that Azure AZ 900 exam? So yes, I have taken that exam. I have passed it also. Hi, I hope you can see me now. Hi. Sorry about the issue over there. Jayavardhan, no, no, I have not gone to Silicon Valley. I would really like to go to Silicon Valley. Please take me there. And I think we were having some questions on Slido also that I will open that. Um, when did we get certificate? So yes, certificate you will be getting at the end. I think the link is shared. You can register and you will be getting the certificate. Please tell the actual process of AZ900 and exam criteria. So yes, this is something that we will be discussing tomorrow. We will be discussing about the certification in detail. We will be trying to see the certification roadmaps. We will even discuss the questions. And apart from that, yes, we are discussing a practice set also. So practice set will really help you. And I guess I should stop talking because otherwise I will just reveal the surprises that you have. But yes, any extra money needed to get certificates, sir? Are you talking about the certificate for this boot camp? Then no. If you're talking about the AZ900 certificate, you are getting a voucher, right? If you are appearing by using that voucher, then yes, you don't need to pay anything extra. I hope I have covered all of the questions, but let us say if you want to ask anything else, you can also please go ahead and ask that also. Sonali is telling she is very excited for tomorrow's surprise. So yes, I am also excited. Just make sure that you are joining in for tomorrow, and if any of your friends are there who have not joined in, ask them to also join, who are not there for today's session. Apart from this, any other things that you would like to know from me, please feel free to go ahead and ask so that yeah. Tomorrow the session will also start at 10:30. So yes, tomorrow session will start at 10:30. What else can we do? I guess some of you were asking before, how to go through the documentation. I guess I can show that also since we are having some more time left today. Basically, there is nothing else different over here. If you are going through documentation, first thing, of course, that is not something that I would ask because I actually prefer that you have hands-on. You don't, go through the documentation because for me that is a very boring thing to do. I would actually prefer that you just make some projects and you get the knowledge that you want from that. But yes, definitely there might be some incidents or some times when you are not able to understand what to do, so you might need documentation for that. And I guess I will try to show how to use documentation. Here the important part is that you don't get lost in the various kind of documentation that is there. So you have to specifically understand how to get the information that you want. So yeah, this is about virtual machines. Now here you are able to see that they are having are you I'm so sorry, but maybe please let me know if you are able to see my screen. If you are not able to see, just let me know on the chat. Hi Priyanshu. Please don't be late, man. You are missing on so many things. We have covered so many topics today, and I guess if you were a little bit, uh, I also talked somewhat a little bit about tomorrow's surprise. I guess we will be talking about it towards the end also. But I told that you should not be missing tomorrow's session and just make sure that you are not late for tomorrow's session. Definitely, if you are late, you will really regret it because we have got lot of things tomorrow. So see, if I were to go back over here, and this is about virtual machines in Azure, specific kind of documentation. There are different documentations, of course, but if you are talking just about this, you are having an option to download this as PDF. I guess maybe we should give it a minute or so to load. It's taking long. This is taking a bit longer than expected. Here you can see that they have given everything how to create a Linux VM. I guess you were asking, right, how to do this by using CLI. Who was it? I think, yeah, Vittal was asking how to start any service by using Cloud Shell. Okay, so here it is given how to create a Linux virtual machine by using the CLI. Okay, so we will be following these steps and we will be trying to create a virtual machine over here. So this is how easy it will be when you are following the documentation. The only thing is that you will have to be a little bit, aware about how the different things will be there. So here you can see that you are having an option to directly go through the steps and execute directly from documentation itself. Hmm. So we have to first follow the first step, which is creating a resource group. Now, resource group, I guess if you remember, it was a logical container in which different kind of Azure resources can be deployed and managed. This is about creating a my resource group in the East US location. So you can copy this, I guess. Yeah. Now that I have pasted it over here, you can see I will try to create a resource group. And yes, now it is succeeded. Okay. So now that I have created a resource group, I will be going to the next step, which is creating a virtual machine. Now, how do you create a virtual machine? So here the command is given for creating azvm create. Resource group is given, the name is given, the image is given, everything is given over here. Okay. So I will copy this also and I will paste it over here in the Azure shell. It will take a few minutes for this to do that. Meanwhile, I will go and check over here. This is still loading. Basically, this was nothing but just a PDF version of the documentation that we are currently going through. For some reason, this is not working. I guess I will have to try once again. Hey Jayavardhan, what happened to you? Please take care of yourself and just remember to join us tomorrow, okay? You can leave the session now, but just remember to join us tomorrow because tomorrow is actually quite exciting. As you can see that even though the steps are given, it is not exactly a very good way to use Azure Cloud Shell. If you were to use the GUI method, if you were to open the Azure portal, this task can be done much more easily. Of course, you can. There are other ways also to use Azure. We will.
Sir, can you please solve one of my doubts? I always wondered that there are many ways in Azure to create the resources. Like first one is the graphical method that you just told, and
Yeah.
then one other is about Cloud Shell, and there is one more thing known as something like Azure Powershell.
Yeah. Yeah. Sure. Yes. Definitely. We can
So,
talk
what is the
about that.
difference between Cloud Shell and the Azure Powershell?
Okay. Maybe then give me a second so that I can go to the presentation at that point. And yes, definitely we can talk about it. PowerShell is something, it is similar to the current, what you can say. You have used PowerShell before, right? If you are doing any Microsoft coding, you might be aware about Cloud Shell and what exactly it does. Azure PowerShell also works somewhat in a similar way. Mm. Hmm. So, yes, I hope you are able to see my screen. Yeah. And here are some of the different ways through which you can use the Azure. So one is of course PowerShell, one is the Azure portal, and one is the Azure mobile app. We also have CLI thing, and we also have Azure Cloud Shell. We also have some REST APIs. Now we have used till now Azure portal and we have used Azure Cloud Shell. But of course, there is a way through which you can use Azure in the CLI also, and there is Azure PowerShell and mobile apps. Now, PowerShell is somewhat similar to how the Microsoft PowerShell will be working. If you have used, then I guess it will be much more relatable to you because um, you will be able to understand some of the fundamental differences that might be there between Cloud Shell and between PowerShell. So basically, one way to put this is that PowerShell is somewhat elevated in the level of control that it might be having in the tasks that you can do in the shell. It is somewhat difficult to do certain kind of tasks in Cloud Shell, but in PowerShell everything is possible. Of course, the important differentiation over here is also about the PowerShell that is there in Windows, but and the PowerShell that is there in Azure. But definitely, if you have used the Windows PowerShell, you will be able to understand how exactly it works over here. And you can see over here that it definitely all of these things they go to Azure Resource Manager, which we had talked before is the central part. If you want to control any kind of resources that are there in Azure, Azure Resource Manager helps you with all of these things. So yeah, I think that's about all of the things. Apart from that, if you have any other questions, I am waiting for your questions in the chat. Please feel free to go ahead and share your questions. We have just few more topics, last few topics to go through. Vittal is asking, Azure PowerShell is similar to Windows PowerShell in what ways? So basically, this distinction is more important for the people who have worked with Linux, because Linux has many more different kind of shells, and here we are having only two, but Linux has much more. And this is just about the different kind of functionality. Like, let us say if someone has used PowerShell before, they would really like to use PowerShell again, even in Azure. And this is just more about the compatibility features, how to make the different systems compatible to each other. Like, let us say if there is a Linux user who is coming to this Microsoft environment, or there is someone who has developed with Windows all of their rest of their lives, and they want to develop for Azure. So how exactly they can feel comfortable? That is exactly why we one of the other reasons why we are having so many shells. And yeah, that's almost about it. There are no significant differences, to be honest. And in the same way, there are well, how do I say this? It is just that I am not that much of a Linux user, to be honest. So this is not that much relatable to me either. But yes, so there are three important shells, which is one is the Bash shell, and one is the I think it is a Bone shell or something. So, and like that, different kind of shells will be there. There is not that much of the difference is not that much that one is there at one level and stuff like that. Yeah, I think yes, just one or two or three more topics are remaining. But yes, if you want to go ahead and ask any kind of questions, please feel free to go ahead. Otherwise, I will be completing these topics. Okay, sure. So I guess just one last few topics, which is about security. So security is also something that is quite boring or not that much interesting topic, which is why everyone does not take care about it. But yeah, that is why I wanted to take it in the end so that you are able to remember about it more. So the first thing, of course, is Azure Security Center. Now, Azure Security Center is a monitoring service. It provides the real-time threat protection across, Azure or any kind of on-premise data centers that you have connected on Azure. It provides the different kind of recommendations. It also uh, helps you to block any kind of malware that you may be having. And I think my screen is my screen visible? Yes, it is visible. Okay. Malware that you may be having, and how to analyze the different kind of attacks. It is also having something that is known as just-in-time access control for ports. Now, what is just-in-time access control? Once again, it will be someone, if someone has worked with Java, I guess they will be able to understand this much more easily. And if any kind of issues are there with the ports, you are able to get the control in the right amount of time, and you are able to take the control back in your hands before any kind of damage occurs. Now, these are also some of the capabilities. So, compliance is one of the most important ones. So, any kind of policy control that you want to be there on Azure, that is also possible. You can set any kind of monitoring. If you want any kind of alerts in Azure, you can do that also. It is collecting different kind of information. It is analyzing it, is integrating that information with Azure resources. It is also having a secure score. Now, what exactly is secure score? It is doing a continuous assessment of all of your resources for issues, keeping those findings in one place into one single score so that you can tell your current situation how it is. And it is also helping you get different kind of recommendations that is helping you to improve the visibility by the resource type. There is also something that is known as Azure Sentinel. Now, what is Azure Sentinel? So, Azure Sentinel is helping you to have the security information management, and different kind of automated responses are also there in Azure Sentinel. It provides analytics and threat intelligence for all of your different products. This is also something that is more relatable to an enterprise, and it is not supposed to be there for customers and for individual people. But yes, definitely that is something that you should be aware about, since at some point you are going to join the enterprises, right? You can see the different kind of things that it is doing over here. It is collecting the information. It is helping you to detect any kind of threats and investigate those threats and respond to them. So it is also helping you to integrate with different kind of things like Azure Active Directory, Azure Advanced Threat Protection, Office 365, and Microsoft Cloud App Security. So it is a one-stop solution for any kind of security related things. You can use it and you can get some understanding about all of the different threats that are there in your organization or in your products, and you can take action against them. We are also having something that is known as Azure Keyword. Now, what is Azure Keyword? Azure Keyword stores the application secrets in a centralized location, and it helps you to control the access permission. Any kind of logging is also there. How to manage the different secrets and how to manage the different keys in Azure, that is taken care of. If you have any certificates, now what is certificate? Certificate is helping you to exchange, it is helping you to authenticate. That is exactly what it does. And yes, so there are also hardware security modules. What exactly is that? That is also something that is for organizations. They will be having even more higher securities, so by using the hardware security modules. And yes, so all of these things, they can be managed by Azure Key Vault. So I think yes, that is almost about all of the things. But if you have any kind of doubts, please let me know. Guys, please try to keep this interactive. If you have any doubts, please let us know, because this is almost nearing the end of our sessions. And yes, that's great actually, Vital. Vital is telling that he is having no doubts. All topics are clear. So yes, I think I will be expecting very good score when we are having the quiz. Yesterday we were not able to have a quiz, but today when we are having, I will be expecting a very good score from you. I hope that you are able to see my screen. If you have any queries, yes, please feel free to post. I will try to answer them. Yeah, so Azure Dedicated Host is providing the physical kind of servers to you. If you want to host Azure virtual machines, if you are having any kind of workloads that you want to host on physical servers, it is of course hosted on physical servers only. But sometimes what happens is you are sharing that server with different kind of people, different kind of users, or sometimes even different organizations. But sometimes you may not want that. You want that to, only one server is there for you. That is exactly what dedicated host does. It helps you to have a single physical server for all of your applications. Just give me a second. This is also something that is, somewhat of a boring topic, but yes, definitely that is interesting also because you have to learn about it. Defense in depth. So now, what exactly is defense in depth? It is a layered approach for securing the computer systems. How exactly it helps? Because it is providing the multiple levels of protection for your data, for your information. And attack in any one layer is isolated. It is different from the subsequent layers, so it helps you to have the you know good amount of protection. Once again, we were having the shared security model, shared model. Here also you are having the same thing, shared security. What exactly it means? How much security is taken care of by yourself, how much security is taken care of by Microsoft. Here you are able to see if that it is on premise, everything has to be taken care of by you. In infrastructure as service, some of the things are taken care of by Microsoft. Platform as service a little more, software as service you can see. So yes, basically depending upon your specific application, depending upon how much control you want over security, because security is a very essential aspect, you can accordingly take a decision by based upon this shared security model. Now this helps you to share the concern that you are having over security, so that some of the workload that you are having, some of the concern you are having is shared by Microsoft, and they can also help you take care of your systems. We are also having something that is known as network security groups. What is network security groups? It helps you to filter the network traffic to and from Azure resources on the different Azure virtual networks. Now, Azure virtual network, I guess we have discussed in before, and it is helping you to set the different kind of inbound and outbound rules to filter by the IP address, or by the port, or by the protocol that it is using. You can add multiple kind of rules, and you can even have subscription limits. By default there are some different baseline rules. You can add even more rules on top of them. You can override the different rules. You can have higher proprietary rules. Basically a lot of things are possible in Azure network security groups to help you secure your data within the Azure virtual network. There is also something that is of course Azure Firewall. It is a stateful and it is a managed firewall as a service, and it helps you to grant and deny the access based upon the IP address, and protect the different sources that you may be having. It is filtering the inbound and outbound both rules, and it is having built-in high availability, and any kind of scalability is also taken care of by Azure Firewall. Logging is also done by firewall. You can use Azure Monitor and you can log the different kind of services. You can log the network activity and it helps you a lot. Now here one another important thing, Azure Application Gateway is also a firewall, but it is different. Azure Application Gateway is a web application firewall. Web application firewall, or WAF, it provides security only for web applications. Here we are talking about Azure Firewall. It is not specifically for web applications. Other applications are also protected over here. We also have something that is known as Azure Distributed Denial of Service, DDoS protection. Now, DDoS, I think you might already be aware about that. It is used for overwhelming any kind of networks, and by making the app slow. What exactly it does is it takes a lot of pressure. It puts a lot of pressure on the Azure, and it overwhelms it. So how exactly DDoS protection works? It helps you to reduce the network traffic. It helps you to understand if there are any attacks happening, how to deal with those attacks, how to reduce the impact to your service. Every service tier is having the DDoS protection automatically enabled, but in the higher service tier there are some more protection also. Like the standard service tier, it is having the mitigation capability. So like that, different kind of small differences are there, but by default the basic protection is already there. So yes, this should give you some idea about what is defense in depth. We are having Azure Firewall, we are having network security groups, and apart from that, we are also having DDoS protection, somewhat on the perimeter layer. We are also having the networking layer with for network security groups. So like that, different kind of layers are there for security. It is not a single kind of thing which is there, and definitely all of your data, all of your information will be secure within Azure. So yes, I guess that is almost all of the topics. If you want to specifically talk about any one topic, if you want me to go through any of the topics, please let me know. Guys, I'm waiting for your doubts in the chat box. If you have any doubts, please feel free to go ahead. If you want me to cover any kind of topics once again, you can do that also. Guys, if there are no doubts, then only one few of the things can be there, that either I have completed all of the things in a very good way, so you don't have any doubts, or you did not understand anything. Anyways, so I guess now since we are nearing our time, it is time for a short quiz. So once again, you can go to Kahoot. You can join on Kahoot. We had already done this before, so I think this should be familiar now. Even if you have not used Kahoot before, I will be sharing my screen. You can go to Kahoot and you can enter this code over there, 9329818. So yeah, maybe please quickly just open Kahoot and enter this code over there so we can have a very short quiz. Are you able to see my screen? Please let me know. Anyway, if you are not able to see also, the code is 989329818. So yes, I am waiting for all of the participants. Please feel free to join very fast. Jagdish is there over here. What about others? Sonu, Ian, Pravali. Guys, please join fast so that we can start our short quiz. Ashwini is there. Hulk. Professor. Professor is back again. I hope the professor wins. Rachna, Sao, Berlin. Oh, what about Narendra Modi? Where is Narendra Modi? Denver. Nani. Mr. C. AB. What is AB? Spidey. So I guess that's about everyone. And but yeah, maybe we can wait. Shravanti, Chandu, Javi Shetty, Nairobi, Surya, Harika, Tejashwini. How many people are joining? Again, there are much more people than they should be there. Tasmina. Hello. Guys, please don't join from multiple usernames. Otherwise, what I will do for tomorrow's quiz is I will just start as soon as the required number of people are there. Bogata, Rowdy Rathod, Antariksh. Why would someone do that? Who is this imposter? Janvi. Oh my! I'm right there over here, and someone. Okay, fine. ABC. Guys, enough now. We have more than double. Okay, so I guess I will start now. Just no more new people, please. So, Ramya. Acha, one more thing. If that Antrish guy wins, I am taking the prize. Okay, I will not give to whoever that guy is. Pratham. Yes, very good, Pratham. Keep coming. Antrish and Pratham, two prizes I am getting today. Very nice. If you are using my name, I get the prize. One more Pratham. Yeah, I want prizes from Antrish, Pratham, and Pratham, whoever they are, if they win. Okay, it's enough. I am starting now. Guys, pay attention to the questions, okay? Don't pay attention to logging in from multiple accounts. It's not a good practice. So, how can the IT department ensure that employees at the company can access applications only from approved devices? So, they can use conditional access, multi factor authentication, or SSO. So, Nani, what is the best way for a company to limit all the outbound traffic from VM to known host? I guess this is something that we discussed towards the end, right? So please remember that. Make all VMs private, ensure that applications communicate with trusted port, configure Azure DDoS protection, or else use Azure Firewall. I hope that questions are very easy and everyone is able to complete. And yes, fine, this time more number of people are there. But what about these other people? Why are they checking in wrong answers also? Yes, Pratham is highest climber. Yes, please climb Pratham because I want your prize. If you win, where is Pratham? He is not there in the scoreboard. So yes, which service can help you protect your app service instance from attackers? This is also something that we discussed in the end. Remember this: Azure Firewall, Azure DDoS protection, network security groups. Azure Firewall is understandable, but how did network security groups? Okay, it was specifically about app service people. It was not about something else. So yes, Harika has highest answer streak of 3. Congratulations, Harika. Shravanti is also the highest. So yes, congratulations. How can the IT department use biometric properties such as facial recognition to prove their identity? Okay, this is going to be interesting now. See, everyone has given the correct answer. 3 players just dropped their answer streak. How is that possible? This was supposed to be easy. Where did Pratham went? I want Pratham now. How can you reduce the number of times users must authenticate? Now, see, this is also something that is quite interesting. Think for some time, then answer. Don't, just answer just like that. How can you reduce the number of authentication attempts? How can you make sign in easier for your people? What? I guess, yeah, maybe because most of you are not enterprise users, you probably may not understand what SSO is. But yeah, sure, no issues. Who is AB now? I would be very interested in knowing who is AB. AB, DJ, and Shravanti. Yes. So, okay, guys, thank you so much for your participation today. And I guess now it is time for our small announcement that we have regarding tomorrow. So, yeah, I will stop sharing. And I hope that you really enjoyed this. This was a short quiz, and this was somewhat of a difficult kind, I guess I could say. But yes, if you have any doubts, please feel free to go ahead and ask because this is the last now. So Nagore is saying it. Yes, thank you so much, Vithal. I really, it is great that you like the session. Maybe we can give a few minutes for Varun to join in. And meanwhile, if you have any doubts, please feel free to go ahead and ask them.
So, guys, we are having an announcement for you. Hope you enjoyed the session on this AZ 900 3 days boot camp. Huge shout out to Antriksh Pratham sir for giving his time and precious knowledge to all of us. And from last 3 days, we are continuously seeing that there is quite very excitement regarding the vouchers and swags. So finally, the time comes when we are going to tell you about the announcements and all. So I have shared with you a Discord link. Kindly join the Discord channel. Every Friday, we conduct quiz on this Microsoft Azure, and winners get swags from Microsoft. This is separate thing. Today also it's Friday, and we are going to conduct the quiz, so you people can join, and you can get the details of vouchers also from there only. And now regarding the tomorrow's thing. So tomorrow we have changed the plan. Let's make it interactive. Now it's not going just to be a PPT session. The speaker is coming, telling, and you people are okay, like online class, keeping it and then going again back to the bed. So so there are few announcements. Tomorrow we'll be having the quiz where the winners will get swags also. Shout out on the live stream. And we are calling the speakers from outside who will share their journey, or there will be an interaction. So if you have any kind of doubts regarding anything you want to ask, you can ask. Now, like how to get started, what should we do? I don't have proper resources. From where should I start? Which certification to do? What is the pathway I should consider? Any kind of doubt regarding cloud, you can ask thoroughly. And believe me, it's going to be a wonderful session. So, till then, if you have any other doubts, just ask it here regarding today's session, or we can end the stream.
Guys,
Okay,
please, yeah.
we'll be waiting for 2 more minutes. If you have any kind of doubts, you can ask, or else we'll end the stream. So, you can say if you want anything.
Yeah, yeah. Tomorrow is going to be very exciting. So please make sure that your friends are also joining if they want, because it is going to be a great discussion. As Varun has said, that we are going to be calling some people who will be sharing their experiences. We are also going to be discussing about the certification, about how the certification will be like, why you should appear for certification, and how you can prepare in a very good way. And also, yes, that is exactly why we are having speakers from others, from other places, so that they can share how they prepared for their own certifications. And apart from that, yes, we will be discussing some sample questions. Tomorrow's quiz, the winners will be having some surprise swags from us. And that is apart from what is going to be happening today. So Friday, since it is Friday, there is going to be a quiz on the Discord server today also. That is different. So I guess if you join the Discord server, you are getting two chances to get swags. So yes, the link is there, shared in the chat box. It is there over here also. You can join the Discord server, get prizes today, as well as join tomorrow's stream and get prizes there also. So yes,
Yeah, and one more thing, one most important thing we forgot to tell you, that when you'll be getting the certification vouchers, actually there is a myth. You people are going to be the new ones who are going to give the Microsoft exam, certification exams for the first time. So let me tell you that the questions which you faced in the Kahoot quizzes in these days, or the questions which you are going to face, and the questions which come in the Microsoft certifications, they are quite very different. Means it's going to be for the first persons, it's going to be a very, it becomes very difficult, like what is this question, how is it asking. So tomorrow we are having a quiz in which we will be having the questions from which are of similar pattern to that of Microsoft exam. Are you getting my point? Like in that examination, they ask the question in a industry way. Like they will ask you like that this person is having this enterprise and he wants to do this, and you are the Azure certified administrator. Now what will you do? So you can get the gist of that, and you can get the flavor from tomorrow's session, and it will really be helpful for you when you'll appear for the certification exam. And I'll ask sir to please arrange all these PDFs and everything on the Google Drive, and we'll share you the links so you can use them for your future references. And as always, you can connect with Pratham sir on LinkedIn. He's very active over LinkedIn, and he'll solve your queries afterwards also if you'll ask. It's not that this boot camp is over, so my queries are also over.
So yes, I hope that's almost everything. We can wait for a few minutes. We will just be there over here in the stream. If you have any questions, please feel free to share them, and we will answer that also. But apart from that, yes, this is the end of today's session. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining in. And also, yes, thank you so much, Sonali, Nakul.
Waiting for last 1 minute. If you have any doubts, you can ask. Okay, so I think we are not having any other doubts. So thank you guys for being such a lovely audience and here for joining us for this AZ 900 bootcamp. See you tomorrow, and tomorrow it's going to be exciting day. We all would request you to please join in. Thank you.